Lean in. So I had my mammogram a few weeks ago, right? I'm usually in pretty good spirits whenever I do go in to have that done. But I get into the center and the receptionist, she's in really good spirits. That's one thing that I can say. The center that I go to, they're always very cheerful. And so, it cheers me up a little bit more. And so she checks me in and takes me back to the waiting room, gives me my dressing top. And so I go into the changing room to change the top, and it was just amazing. I have to share with you what I saw. Keep watching, and I'm going to share with you something that was so cool to me. I want to share that with you, and it's a visual. I can't just say it, I have to show you. And I'm going to show you a little later on in the video. So after the mammogram, a few days later, I got my results and everything was clear. Amen. Right? But that's not the story for everyone. Someone gets results sometimes that do show signs of cancer, and it can be a hard pill to swallow. I know that because there's breast cancer in my family, there's colon cancer in my family, there's ovarian cancer in my family, blood and bone cancer in my family. So I know what it means to support a family member that's going through a challenging season. And you probably know what it means to support family and friends that are also going through challenging seasons of cancer. Um, so that's why it's near and dear to me to support the American Cancer Society with this knit-a-thon that I'm hosting. I'm hosting a fundraiser that you can donate to that I'm asking for your donations. And your donations go straight to the American Cancer Society, but you're also sponsoring an item for me to knit in my daily knit-a-thon. So this is crafting for a cause, which is so cool to me. So the challenge is daily knitting at 9, hence the series Knit at 9. So I'm coming on every day in the month of November, except for Sundays, to knit a project and knit a project with you. Talk about knitting, talk about health screening, talk about positive affirmations, to talk about all the things. And I hope you journey along with me. This is day 2. We started yesterday. So we're knitting a new project today, and the goal is daily knitting. And then another goal is to come on live and do it every day. But the other goal that I have for myself is to complete the project within an hour. So I probably need to get started, right? So today I'm working on a project that is sponsored by Cherie. Yay! Thank you, Cherie, for sponsoring today's project. And we're going to be working on a chemo scarf. We're going to be working on a scarf. So, all of the projects that I knit for the month of November are going to my local hospital to chemo patients. So, your support means a lot to your family and friends. And you can also support people that you don't even know. How cool is that with this donation? So let's get started. I'm going to show you the project from an overhead view and just share with you the machine that I'm working on and how I'm creating this project and how I'm putting it together. But like I said, this is supposed to be done within the hour. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the overhead view of my project and show you what I'm using today. Actually, let me just come back in and show you. So today we're making a scarf. We're making a pink and purple scarf. We're using this yarn here. And I'll show you just some of the other things that I'm going to be using. I have to have these scissors with me. And I have these stitch markers just in case stitches drop. I'm praying that they don't. And I just lost a darning needle. I have these other darning needles, And this just means it's a needle with a big eye and the point is not very sharp. And I have a crochet hook in case I need to pick up any stitches. And for this project, we're actually using waste yarn. And this waste yarn goes on the beginning and the end of the project. And it helps us to see the stitches a bit better when we go into sew up the project. So I'll give you a closer view of the project. So as we're starting here, this machine has 46 pins or needles. There's three black ones to start, as you see right here, and then there's white ones going all the way around. The first one is number one, the first black pin on the right side. And as I turn this handle, the pins pop up and down as they pass this golden section right here. I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera. Maybe you can see a little bit better now. This golden section is where I feed the yarn. It's the yarn feeder, but I like to call it the Golden Gate Bridge. And as the pins pop up in front of this, they pop up and then they go back down. So we're going to the very first pin and we're going to cast on. So I'm going to start with the yarn under this hook. All the pins have a little hook like this. So I'm going to put the yarn under the hook, and as I turn the crank, the next hook I'm going to go behind, the next one in front, then behind and in front, and I'm alternating that all the way around. Oops, sorry. Let's redo this. This is the cast on, but I forgot my waste yarn. I'm all excited. I forgot to add the waste yarn. We're going to start with the waste yarn first. I'm going to go back up to this first pin and then hook the waste yarn and do that same cast on, even in and out of each pin, going slowly so I don't miss any pins. And this is our cast on. So now that we've gone all the way around, we're going behind this last needle, and then we're going to enter it into the Golden Gate Bridge, which is the yarn feeder. So I'm going to reset my counter. I have a counter over here that counts the rows. I'm setting that to 0, and then I'm going to go around 5 times for the cast on in the waste yarn. So in the beginning, it sounds a bit clunky, but after that second row, it sounds a lot smoother. So as I turn the crank, it knits additional rows, and these are being knitted in a tube form. So as you can see, it's all connected and it's being knitted in a tube. So I am casting on 6 rows, and I want to stop back at the beginning. Actually, I need to go all the way back around because here's coming up on the first stitch. So as I'm changing the color, I'm taking it out of the yarn feeder and putting it on the right, I'm sorry, the left of the last needle, and I'm changing to this new color, and I'm going to put it through the feeder and close this back, and I'm going to put it to the right of the next stitch that I want to knit. And I'm just going to hold these two at the same time just to make sure that it catches. And we are up. So with this scarf, I'm going to go ahead and just finish this pink because I have a little bit left. And I'm going to use the purple after that. When I do my scarves, I like to do at least 200 rows. But depending upon how much we have left, we may go a little bit longer than that. So now that this has come back around, I'm just going to tie a loose tie on this just to make sure that that stays together. So now we're going for 200 rows and the cranking begins. This is actually such an easy way to do a quick knit project. And I'm going to just give you the information on what you can sponsor with your donations. It's showing at the bottom of the screen what items that you're able to sponsor. And our sponsor today is Sherry. Thank you again, Sherry, for sponsoring today's project. We are making an infinity scarf. You'll be able to see the project grow as we go. I'm adjusting my yarn as it comes out of the skein and creating a bit of tension. You see my hand over on the left hand side. I'm holding a bit taut just to create a bit of tension as I crank it into the machine. This is an arm workout, but I need it. You can see as the project grows, first it goes out and then it goes down. It's going to go down to the table, but I want to start to roll my project when it hits the table just to make sure it doesn't hinder my stitches falling off the machine. So how many knitters do we have? How many crocheters do we have? Comment knit if you are a knitter. Comment crochet if you're a crocheter. Or if you have another craft, because I love all the crafts, comment and let me know what your craft of choice is. I am always curious to see what people are into and what types of crafts people love to do because I love to craft for a cause. We're actually coming to the end of the pink, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, and we're at row 46. But that also counts the waste yarn that we used. This is getting thin. So I just want to make sure I don't knot up at the end here. This is a great way to use up extra yarn for a project. Okay, so we're coming to the end of this. And I can actually just end this wherever I want to. So use up as much yarn as I can. And we're actually going to just take this one out and drop this to the left of the last pin that we're knitting. And then for this purple, I'm going to add this to the right of the next stitch that we're knitting. So I'm just going to turn it slow. I'm going to hold them together while I turn it and pull it a little just to make sure that it catches. And now we're off with the purple. And as that goes around, I'm going to go ahead and tie this together to make sure that that stays together. We don't get a hole. So I'm actually new to this circular knitting machine. I love it, but I want to share a little bit more about it if you're not familiar.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Knitting at 9. Today I want to share my fantastic Addi circular knitting machine. This machine has 46 pins and it allows me to knit tubes and panels really quickly. It's a game changer for my knitting projects. What I really love about the Addi is how user friendly it is. I'm new to this circular knitting machine, but it is perfect for both beginners and experienced knitters because you can go above and beyond. And the quality of the finished items, it's just amazing. I got my Addi set up on my Dreambox table, the ideal crafting spot. It just really keeps everything organized so that I can focus on creativity without distractions. I'm really excited to explore the possibilities with this machine throughout our series. Let's dive in.
Yes, I am loving it. So, like I said, this is my first time using it actually in October um, to practice. And now I'm going live with it. Not terribly comfortable with using it, but one way to grow is to stretch yourself and do different things, right? The only way that you can learn and grow is by doing something different. So this is getting really close to the table, and we're going to start to roll it up here just to make sure that the stitches aren't hindered. So let's do that. You can see that white cast on waste yarn that we used, and I'm just going to roll it up so that it's not on the floor. And I'm going to have to keep rolling it as we as it gets longer. That's such a pretty color. It's like a little flower blossoming inside the machine, right? We are on row 76 and 77. With this machine, you can knit tubes and you can also knit flat panels. So for the novice like me, the hats and scarves are a great starter project. that you can do pretty quick and have a sense of accomplishment. For the experienced knitters, using the panels, you can create anything. You can create clothes with this, which I hope to gravitate to learn as well. Sweaters, tops, skirts, dresses, headbands, knockers, all the things. All the things. So I want to share with you our calendar or my calendar for the knitting project, just to share with you the donations that we have. Check out the calendar, it's filling up, which is so cool. I'm so appreciative of all the people that have donated to the American Cancer Society and sponsoring me in my knit-a-thon here. As you can see, there's still spaces at the bottom of the calendar. So if you're interested in donating to the American Cancer Society and sponsoring me in this knit-a-thon, you can definitely do that. You can even choose which item you want to sponsor, or I can choose that item for you. So as you donate, I will sponsor a specific item and knit it during this knit-a-thon. My counter says 99. And just to give you another idea of items that you can sponsor. I can tell you that if you're not familiar with the circular knitting, this crank is fairly smooth. Like, it's not hard to turn the handle. It's not hard at all to turn the handle. It's pretty smooth, but it is a workout because of the repetition. So I may go around here a little bit lopsided, bulked up on the right side and not so much on the left. It would be cool if they had the option to add the handle on the left or the right for left-handers and right-handers. But I guess left-handed knitters will be ambidextrous after using this machine, because you'll be able to use your right hand pretty good. If for some reason we don't finish this project during the live, I will post it on my fundraiser page, the completed project, so that you can see. And if you're not in the fundraiser page, comment page, and I'll add you to that page. But this yarn is going down. We're actually at 116, but I have to keep in mind that those waste yarn rows are on here as well. But I shared with you in the very beginning my experience when I had my mammogram and what happened when I walked into the dressing room. So I want to share with you what was so cool when I walked into the dressing room. Check it out. How cool is that? Right? I love positive affirmations. Going into the dressing room and seeing all that positive affirmation just stuck to the wall from everyone that has come in there, that was so cool. And I can just imagine someone that's seeing that, that's feeling a certain way about having a mammogram done. Because not everyone is interested in doing that because there's some smashing and prodding being done when you have your mammogram, right? But that was such cool affirmation and encouragement for those coming in to have that done. I thought that was the coolest thing. If you know me, you know that I love positive affirmations. I'm all about that. So I just really appreciated that. It made my day and it continues to, as you can see, I'm still talking about it several weeks later. I thought it was the coolest thing. So if you haven't already done your mammogram, I encourage you to go get it done. Take a friend for support or encourage a friend to go get theirs if they haven't. So, I mean, you got to ask your friends to make sure that they have had theirs. Early screening, early detection goes a long way. We are at row 146. We're definitely going to use this whole purple yarn. Still giving my project a little bit of attention by holding the yarn a bit taut on the left side here. We're not there yet. We're still cranking. Roll this up a little bit more. Sit down. Roll it up and press it down. So I'm at row 158. I may have to add in another color just to make sure we can get to 200 rows because, as you can see, this purple is already getting thin. I may have underestimated how far this would go, but uh, this yarn right here is kind of the same silkiness. So if we need to, I'll add that color. You can't go wrong. These color blocks will look really good together, whatever color. Okay, so this is getting on the end. Make sure I don't create a knot. Oh, it's feeling a bit of tension. Where was that started? tight. Let's see. Let me give that a little slack there. Why is it pulling? Uh-oh, what happened? Loosen this tension. Not sure what happened. It's tight. Hopefully we fixed it. So we're at row 177, so I definitely need to add more because as you can see this purple on the left hand side of the screen here. Oh, let me show you. Like this is what we have left. And we're at row 178. And we need at least 200. But okay. And then all we can on this color. Does that keep pulling? Why? Keeps getting tight. Oops. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the end of that color in there. And whenever I have a ball of yarn like this, you have to keep unraveling it. So what I do, I have my bin here underneath the desk. I have my clear bin that I drop the yarn in so that it can feed easily from down here. And it can roll around in that clear bin without rolling around on the floor. So we're going to add this color in there. Crank slowly to catch it. Pull it a little bit tight. And keep going. So now I'll show you this a little bit closer again. I don't know if you could see, you probably can't see the bin on the floor, but it's feeding from the bottom, which it's just rolling around on its own in that bin, which is perfect. So I don't have to continue to unravel it. But let me tie this on where we joined the color just to make sure it stays connected there. That's even pretty. So this color is going to be connected to the pink on the other side. And we're at 190. We are actually multi-streaming. I see Adria has joined. Hey, Adria. One to Adore has joined. Hello. Vonnie Webb has joined. Maria has joined. And MK has joined. Thank you all for watching with us. That's awesome. Giving myself a little bit of slack here. And forgot to roll this up. We got a bigger donut. This space right here, I'm going to have to tighten that with, that's where we joined the color. And let me just add the link here. Okay, so I just tried to add that link over on IG. Hopefully you can see it. Give myself some more slack. We're at 200, but it still needs 20 more. See how far we can get. Oh, this yarn actually has, looks like, several pieces of the yarn on one ball. So it's ended. Now we have to start another string. Not sure how many pieces are in here. I'm gonna hold both leaves. Here, I'm just gonna tie this together loosely right now. We'll come back and tighten that up once we finish. I'm shaking the whole screen here. So this machine is attached to my table in my Dreambox. So the table is, of course, attached to the entire Dreambox, which is like an armoire of crafting projects. And I also have my camera for the project view attached to the Dreambox. So I've got everything shaking. Starting. If you watched me do the beanie project yesterday, you know that we had to, of course, go around stitch by stitch to take the project off of the machine. But when I do a scarf and use the waste yarn, the good thing about that is I don't have to remove it stitch by stitch. I can just crank the machine and it goes all the way around and removes the project itself that way. So this is another end here. Let's go ahead and add that one in there. Find the other end of this yarn. Where is it? Here we go. Drop that in the bin and feed this piece in. I'm gonna hold these two while I go around. I'm just going to tie these loosely. We are actually at 2:30, so I can safely cast off on this. Actually, we're not doing a cast off. We're doing the waste yarn for the other side. But I want to make sure I have enough yarn when I knit the project together. So the circumference of the machine times 2 is the amount that I want to have. So I'm going to double this and then cut this off. And then I'm going to take this yarn that we're going to use to sew the project together and put that on the inside. And then I'm going to go with my other waste yarn and do 5 rows of this. So we're going to feed this in. And just like I'm adding another color, go slow on that first one. So I'll put that in the bin. Tie this together loosely. Just make sure it doesn't come apart. Oh, this yarn is getting caught up. Now we have the waste yarn. So we're at the end of the project. Yay! So I'm going to take this yarn out of the feeder and I'm just going to go ahead and crank twice all the way around and the project is going to release itself from the machine. So cool. Let's get this last one. Yay. So we have our little flower, our blossom. So now I can go ahead and remove the machine so we can put it together. And I have it hooked with these brackets. So I'm gonna take these off. Here are the brackets. And remove this. And just get rid of these little feet marks. I like to use alcohol. Clean the table up. Okay, so let me give you the project view again. Okay, so now we have the project that we can stretch it out, see what we're working with. Move this out of the way. we're looking at it at the underside first so that we can tie up those seams where we added the new colors. This is the edge that we're sewing it with. So look at our scarf. Cool. You can stretch it. It's hanging off the table. So I'm just going to go back to the different spots like this. And I'm going to tighten these stitches. So this is what it looks like on this side. And then on this side, it looks very cool. Can't see where that is. It's right here. So since this is a double lined scarf, we don't have to weave in the ends. We can just tie our knots and then cut off the excess. So this is where we join that color, and this color is a join here. I'm going to tighten this one up. Tying about 4 knots. And then cutting off the excess there. And we actually had a few color joins on the green. I tighten this. Tie about 4 knots here. Then the excess. Is there another color? Yeah, up at the top here. And I'm going to tighten this one. This is the last yarn join or color join. Then cut off that excess there. Okay. So now that we have all of that mended on the inside, we can turn it on the right side. I'll do it this way. And see what it looks like. So the ends that the long strand ends that we've started with and ended with, I'm just going to pull those out. So this is the yarn end. I'm going to have that at the top here. Flatten it out. The yarn end is on the top here. So I want to make sure that the yarn end is on the top on the other side. Not the waist yarn part, but the color part. So just going to adjust it. Okay. And so this is the end that we're going to use that has the long piece. We're going to use this to knit it together or to seam it up together. And why do I have a knot? Too much yarn. So I'm going to thread my darning needle here. So I'm going to line these up on top of each other. And we're going to weave them together. So you see with the waste yarn on here, it makes it easy for us to see what stitches to pick up. So we're picking up the green stitches on this side and then the pink stitches on this side at the top. So having that contrasting color makes it a lot easier for you to see what you're actually picking up, just to make sure you pick up the right stitches. This one we loosely tied together. I'm going to actually untie that. This one we loosely tied together too. Untie that. And we're going to work from right to left. So the stitch on the same side as the long tail, we're going to start with that one. Going into this one first. One's out of the way. And then this stitch on this side, going to go into this one next. And we're going to sandwich it together going all the way around. So I'm just trying to get those out of the way. So we're going into the last stitch, which is actually right here, and into the next. Into the last stitch, and into the next. Into the previous, and into the next. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. It's probably hard to see. As I get going here, I'll show it to you a bit closer. So let me show you this a bit closer. So this pink one, we went in the last time. So I'm going back into the stitch that I knitted previously or mended and into the next one. I'm pulling that up and going back into this side that I went in previously and then into the next. And that's what we're doing all the way around. And this is why we have to have such a long tail when we end the project, just to make sure that we can get all the way around the entire thing. And the contrasting color allows me to see what I need to be going through and not going through the waste yarn stitches. The waste yarn is the white yarn, and on that, when we end, we're just going to pull it off. It will unravel itself. Or will unravel it, rather. And then just continue to adjust and turn so we can get all the sides. So I'm curious to know if you have already had your mammogram. Go ahead and comment mammogram. And I'm curious to know if you are going to ask someone, ask your friend, or encourage them to get theirs. Comment with the word encourage because we need to make sure that we get that early screening. Early detection can save lives. Annual screening is a must. Healthy lifestyle is a must. As healthy as you can be. That includes what we're eating, what we're consuming physically and mentally and spiritually. All that takes a toll on your body, inside and out. But the early screening can help with early detection of anything. So comment mammogram if you've already had yours, and comment encouragement if you're going to either encourage someone to get their screening or just ask if they've had theirs already. Because, sometimes maybe the time just gets away from people and they're like, oh, I forgot if you don't schedule it automatically. Whenever I have mine, I'm always going in immediately to schedule for the next year. That way I don't have to remember and I don't forget. Awesome, Sherry. Yes, every year. That is so smart. So smart. Kudos to you for encouraging others and getting yours. And thank you for sponsoring. Our sponsor for the today is here. Everyone say kudos to Sherry for sponsoring today's scarf. Kudos and thank you. This one up. Looks like we've actually gone into over the hour. So this is Knitting at 9, and I promised an hour live. So this finished product will actually be shown, like I'll show a picture of it over on our fundraiser page. So if you're not on the fundraiser page, comment page, and I'll definitely add you because I don't post everything here. I post all the things on the fundraiser page. I will add you to the fundraiser page. And the fundraiser page is on Facebook, just in case you are wondering. We are multi streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So, hello to everyone watching from those different locations. But the fundraiser page where you will be able to donate is actually on Facebook. So, comment page and I can add you to that. And all of our sponsors are going to be entered into a drawing. I'm so excited. And I just wanted to share with you a little bit more about that in case you weren't aware. Hey, sponsors, donators. I don't know if you know, but you are going to be entered into a prize drawing. It's a raffle for your donations. And if you haven't sponsored or donated yet, you still have time to enter into the raffle if you are listening to this in between November 1st and November 30th. You still have time to enter into this raffle. How do you enter? By donating to the American Cancer Society and sponsoring a knitting item. I am raffling off 3 items, 3 winners. Thanks to Sherry, there's going to be 3 winners. Yay, Sherry. So I'm raffling off my positive affirmation. This is a blank notebook that you can use for journaling or however you want to use it. Grocery list, thought list, brainstorming, whatever you need, right? This is my positive affirmation 90-day prompt journal. This is intentional. There's also a bookmarker in here, which is a card. But this takes you through 90 days of affirmations and 90 days of journaling and 90 days of scriptures associated with your daily affirmation. And it focuses on self-confidence. So 90 days to unleash self-confidence. This is my first volume of my positive affirmation series, first of 4 volumes. And also this positive affirmation zipper pouch. What can you use it for? Whatever you want. It's a big sized zipper pouch. I guess this is it's close to the size of 8.5 by 11, but that's not the exact size. I don't know what the size is, but you have this to store all the things that you want to store in there. 3 winners to win one of these items. So if you've not donated or sponsored today, what are you waiting for? Yes, what are you waiting for? So we're almost finished with this project, but this is an hour knitting. So I'm going to go ahead and end the live here and finish the project up, and I'll post the finishings over on the fundraiser page, like I mentioned. So if you are in there, you'll be able to see it. But if you're not in there, comment page and I'll add you so that you can see the finished project. But this actually gives me an idea as well of how long it takes me to create this scarf and how much chatting I could do in this video just to make sure that we finished within the hour. So thank you for tuning in to our live with Addie, the knitting machine, and with Janae here. We're about to go wash her. But Janet and Janae are saying bye for now. Thanks for watching.